page. Fumbling. This is the most important page. Okay. Our speaker today is Pierre Uwimana, a community leader whose life and work reflect a deep commitment to human dignity, justice, and collective well-being. Originally from Rwanda, Pierre's journey is shaped by resilience, faith, and calling to serve others. His lived experience navigating displacement and rebuilding life across borders informs his compassionate and grounded approach to leadership. Over the years, he has transformed that experience into a powerful force for advocacy, working alongside communities to ensure that every individual, regardless of origin, has access to opportunity, safety, and belonging. Pierre currently serves as the Florida State Refugee Organizer with the Florida Immigrant Coalition, where he leads efforts to empower immigrant communities through civic engagement, leadership development, and policy advocacy. His professional background spans over a decade of leadership in nonprofit and individual international development work. Pierre has held key roles with organizations such as World Relief and World Concern. His work has taken him from Rwanda to Haiti to the United States, managing complex programs in areas such as refugee resettlement, emergency response, public health, and economic empowerment. Pierre holds a Master's of Business Administration and Finance from the United States International University and a Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting and Business Administration. His academic training complements his practical experience in financial management, organizational leadership, and program development. Fluent in multiple languages, I counted 7, including English, French, Swahili, basic Haitian Creole, and 3 African languages that I can't pronounce. Pierre brings a unique ability to connect across cultures and communities. And in addition to all of that, he is also a real estate agent dedicated to helping families achieve home ownership and build generational wealth. Pierre will draw connections with his personal journey and our Unitarian Universalist principles. Welcome to UUCJ, Pierre.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is really good to be with you all today. Thank you for your warm welcome here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Jacksonville. I used to live around here in Arlington area around Merrill Road, and I used to pass by, but I never knew that there is this, huge church of good people, like you. But I'm glad we were able to connect. So I come to you as someone who works with Florida Immigrant Coalition, but more importantly, as someone whose life has been shaped by faith, migration, and the search for belonging. I was born in Rwanda into a family of a church minister. I was raised in a home where faith wasn't just something we talked about on Sundays. It was something we lived. Values like compassion, service, humility, and justice were part of everyday life when I was being brought up. So those early lessons in my childhood and in my youth, they stayed with me. And later in life, when I experienced displacement and had to rebuild in a new place, those same values became my foundation, and they shaped who I am today. Because when you leave home, whether by choice or by force, you carry more than just your belongings. You carry your faith, your values, your sense of who you are. And wherever immigrants go, there is always this quiet question. Will I be treated like a stranger? Or will I be welcomed as a neighbor? Those two questions always haunt them. They face a lot of uncertainty about what they are going to face. But in all that, there is a verse, some verses that I wanted to go through from the Bible that have, followed me through my life. The first one is in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 34. That says, treat the foreigner among you as your native born. Love them yourself. Love them as yourself. That what strikes me about this verse is that it doesn't say, be kind when it's convenient. It doesn't say, welcome those who are like you, those who are like you. It doesn't say that. But it says, treat them as your own. I know that is a radical idea. And it connects deeply with your life, with your belief in the inherent worth of dignity of every person. Another verse that I like is from Micah 6:8, where I live down in St. Augustine. There is a group of Catholic believers who came up with Micah Solidarity Project, and that is a network of those believers, and they want to put their efforts together to stand with immigrant communities in St. John's County. And Micah 6:8 has a few words that I like. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. For me, those three, justice, mercy, and humility, are not separate. Justice means we challenge systems that harm people. Mercy means we lead with compassion. And humility means we listen, we recognize, and we don't have all the answers, but we listen. And then there is also Matthew 25, verse 35, which says, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. This verse always feels very personal to me. When I came here in 2014, that's about 12 years ago, I lost everything that I had back home, and I came here to seek for safety. And I had a small apartment down here on Merrill Road, and I didn't have a car. I was moving around on my bike. I had a bike, and when I have to go for grocery shopping, I used my bike, and I like doing everything. That was my transportation means. But when I was riding my bike, I rode around Merrill Road, and I passed by St. Matthew's Lutheran Church. And on a Sunday, I decided that I need to go and join, a church. And I joined that church, and I rode my bike over there. And when the Sunday service was over, somebody I don't know, I came to know him later, he offered to, a ride to take me back home. He took me and my bike, he put my bike in his car, and then drove me back to my apartment. And in my mind, I was like, who on earth can, offer this favor to me? I thought that everybody rejected me, but when he offered that to me, I started feeling the sense of belonging. And so I was a stranger, but he welcomed me. And then as weeks went by, many from that church started, welcoming me and my family, and they came to our home, offering transportation, some food, some of them with some money to help us to start a new life. And it was a humbling beginning, but as a stranger, I felt welcomed. So this verse really reminds me of how we treat a stranger. It shows how to live out our values, not just what we believe, but what we do. Whether you are a believer in Christian faith or not, this is a value that everyone as a human carries, and I have seen it in my life journey. So let me bring this in the work that we do here, that in our life as immigrants in Florida. I want to share a few statistics, but not statistics, but real situations that we see every day as immigrants. I have met a father who wakes up at 4 a.m. to go to work in construction. He works long hours, sends money home to support family. He pays taxes, and yet lives with fear that one traffic stop could change his life. He could change everything about his life. I also have spoken to a mother who told me that she avoids taking her child to the doctor because she is afraid of being asked questions about her status. I've also worked with a lot of people, some of them young, some of them old, students who grew up here. They were born here. They dream of becoming teachers, nurses, leaders, but they feel like the system is telling them they don't belong here. And I have seen families create emergency plans, deciding who will take care of their children if they are suddenly detained. These are not isolated stories. This is what I see every day. This is daily life for many of our neighbors, our Floridian neighbors, friends. And yet, in the middle of all this, I also see something very, very powerful. I see communities like you and many others supporting each other. I see neighbors sharing food, their resources, information, taking care of their neighbors. I see resilience that is deeply inspiring within these communities, and this gives me hope. These stories, in my own way, I know what they mean. To learn new systems, to figure things out step by step in a new world, to wonder where you fit. I came here with a master's degree in accounting and finance, but when I applied for jobs in the same field, no one could hire me. Because when I do an interview, with my accent, with the knowledge that I haven't gone through an American university, they doubt about my skills. I also remember people who showed me kindness along the way, like I shared, the friends from Matthew's Lutheran Church. Sometimes it was something small, a conversation, a smile, or something taking time to explain, something to me that I do not understand. And people felt like it was small, but to me, it was not. Those moments really mattered to me, and they reminded me that I was not alone. They reminded me that I could belong. And that's why I stand here fearless, because I know that I belong here. I like the song that we sang, that there is more love somewhere. There is more love here, not somewhere else, here. Yes. Belonging is something we create, but belonging is also something that the community creates with you. And that's something valuable that we all share. We do it without knowing, but we do it. So I know I have 20 minutes, but I wanted to share the work that Florida Immigrant Coalition does about all this with immigrant communities. And we are working across the state to make sure that immigrant communities are not isolated, but organized, informed, and empowered. I just want to give a few examples of what we do. We host Know Your Rights training, where families learn to do what to do if they encounter immigration enforcement, so that they are not acting out of fear, but out of knowledge about their rights. We also help organize community response networks. So if someone is detained, there is a group of people like you and many others who are ready to support the family, making calls, finding legal help, showing up to make sure that they are supporting those families. We also train community leaders. Standing here in front of you, really, when I came here, I couldn't do that. As an accountant, I used to work with numbers, but not with people. I was very, very nervous and scared to stand in front of people and say something. But I was very comfortable looking at the screen and analyze numbers and you know. But now, with what FLIC is offering, I am able to stand here and speak, and many other leaders, you know, have been developed to lead, speak publicly, and advocate for other people. We also work with partners to challenge harmful policies that are being put in place by the state or the national leadership, and we push for changes that reflect dignity and fairness. And sometimes our work is simply about being present within communities, stand with families, listening and making sure they know that they are not alone. We also offer other services, citizenship drives, where those immigrants who are ready to apply for citizenship, they can get some support. And then we also offer different services like working with different units that are across the state and organizations to support with mutual aid if families are struggling financially or with food or transportation. We organize different units of volunteers to help those families that are struggling, and many other services that can support immigrant communities. So that's where your church could come in. So I would like to invite you, to work with us, not in an overwhelming way, but in real and meaningful steps. You could stay informed, pay attention to what's happening around you. There is a lot of misinformation going on about, immigrant communities, but you don't know the reality, but there is a lot of information available that can tell you the truth about those people. Offer your space. The church could offer the space for workshops, conversations, connections. Also show up. We have different hubs that we are establishing across the state. Those are small entities that bring volunteers together who can put their resources and time together to support immigrant communities. So show up in those groups and different events like vigils, gatherings, and your presence matters. And then volunteer, with our organization. I will have a flyer that that can shows how you can join our volunteer groups, and then also building relationships with immigrant communities. America is built around immigrants. When I go back home to Rwanda, we only have one community, Rwandans, who speak Kinyarwanda, all of us. But when I come here, we have a diverse, community with different backgrounds, from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from America, from all over the world. That's how America, is how special is America. So building relationships with those people gives you an idea of how humanity stands like here in this country. And real change doesn't just happen, but it happens through networks. So in closing, I would like to say that, your principles as the church, I read through your principles. They speak about justice, compassion, and building a world community. And that's not just a vision for the future, it's something we build right now. In small moments, in everyday choices, in how we treat one another. So I leave this, with you. When you encounter someone different from you, who will you choose to be? Will you be a stranger? Will you see a stranger? Or will you see a neighbor? Will you see a stranger? Or will you see a neighbor? Yes, I invite you to see a neighbor, to help a world where people are welcomed, valued, and seen, where dignity is real, and where belonging is shared. Thank you so much, and that was my message.